Welcome to day 5 of the 12 days of Christmas. Actually, let's call this day 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This holiday season, somehow I ended up crashing out. There were 3 things that actually led me to this crash out. The first one is so simple and so stupid. It's these lottery tickets. I won nothing. I spent $40 and got absolutely nothing for these tickets. The hope was that I'd win enough to just pay for the roof that I need to replace, but that was a wash. Then my holiday dinner, I wanted to share with you my holiday dinner preparation and all the different things that helped me make the holiday special. Crashed out, had a horrible day, and I'll tell you what happened. And then the third thing was that one of you guys came to Asturias based on my experience and had the worst time ever. And I'm going to tell a little bit of her story, but I'll also link her podcast video, which goes into very deep detail into the experience that she had while she was here in Asturias. Originally, the 12 days of Christmas, I was supposed to share a bunch of unique things about Asturias and a little bit about Spain so that you could see the differences between US culture and Asturian Spanish culture. And I wanted to share things like me trying all the Asturian Christmas treats. I was going to try quesadillas so that you can see what they were about. I was going to eat frisuelos. I was going to have moscavitas and I was going to have mazapan. I was going to show you the Spanish lottery tradition and what it looks like in my house as an American living in Asturias. And I was going to show you Nochebuena, how I enjoy it as an American. And then I was going to take you with me on Christmas Day to just show you how we were spending Christmas Day with our family, and all of it fail. My holiday party came first. No, I take it back. Hearing the story from this young lady, Cleopatra, hearing her story sent me on this deep dive to understand what happened to her. And I'm going to tell you about that last. We'll start with the lottery. I took a tiny bit of footage for you to enjoy. Once I got to a certain part, I realized that I wasn't in the mental space to share that with you. And then the Christmas party. It was Saturday the 19th. I was able to get oxtail from the butcher. I was so excited. Turns out oxtail here isn't cheap anymore. So we spent all this money on this oxtail. I was ready to prepare it. It was going to take me a few hours to cook. It was the morning of the party. It was the first thing that I was going to prepare. So I go the night before, season them. They marinated in the fridge. They were totally seasoned. I was so excited for them. The morning of the party, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this low and slow in the oven because personally, I do enjoy braised oxtail, but the process of cooking them just is so boring. Personally, I do enjoy braised oxtail, but I actually prefer slow oven roasted oxtail even more. And with those, you really have to season the outside and then you put them on a very low oven and they cook for a very long time. So I was all ready to go, turn on the oven to 150 degrees. It was going to be great. 150 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius, like I set my oven. So an hour into the roasting, I'm realizing those oxtail are smelling cooked. So the first thing I learned on the day of my party is that my oxtail have gone bad. But anyway, the first thing I'm preparing for my party has already gone bad. That's my protein for the whole meal for 13 people. The protein's bad. And it just kind of trickled into everything else. So I'm making, for my collards, I had decided to make a beef broth. So I had all these bones that I was going to make the broth with. I start cooking to make the stock for the collards. And you've got your bones, you've got your carrots, your celery, your onion, all the things, the garlic, everything to give that broth flavor. And my broth, it was a stock. It wasn't a broth because when you put bones in, you get a stock and it becomes gelatinous. But somehow it was not gelatinous per se. It was more greasy in the end. And so it was as though I took the stress from the oxtail and put that into my meal. And everything that I cooked that day had a little bit of stress flavor. And at one point, my husband asked me if we should cancel the party. And I thought, no, I'm just going to go with it. The food's not going to reflect me. And by the time everybody came for the party, I explained to everybody, look, I am so sorry. I was very stressed out all day. Everything that I cooked that day was a fail, except for the mashed potatoes. That was the one thing that came out right. But everything I cooked that day was a fail. My collard greens were greasy. My oxtail was hard and dry. Oh, the macaroni and cheese, I seasoned it as normal, but it still lacks some seasoning. What came out of that day that was fantastic is I actually found sour cream. I'm actually looking it up right now because I forget the name of it. In Spanish, it's like pana. It's a lot of people say, oh, to get sour cream, all you need to do is use creme fraiche. And I love creme fraiche. I love it with smoked salmon and chives. But I needed sour cream for my mac and cheese because that's what gives it the flavor, right? I think it was panna agria, if I remember correctly. Let me try and look this up. It's called panna agria. I found it at El Campo. It was right above where you find the creme fraiche. So that was very exciting because from creme fraiche and sour cream, while they're very similar, they are not the same. And so I'm happy that I have more options because I was about to make my own sour cream. And I frankly was too tired and too frustrated. Plus, it takes a full day to make the sour cream. So that's the bright light that came out of that. But I'm sure what you really want to know is what happened to the audience member. This young lady and her friend came to Asturias. They planned a 2-month stay here. They ended up in a town on the western side of Asturias, a town that I've never been to. I personally am on the eastern side of Asturias, living in Colunga. They came back in October. And one thing that I haven't talked about on this channel is the mysticism here in Asturias. And I haven't talked about it because I haven't been really interested in diving into it. But I realized with her experience that I do have to dive deeper into it because it is a big piece of the culture here. Whenever I go to little shops, they have the little, I want to call them trolls, and they all have their significance in the magical, mystical, Celtic culture that we have here in Asturias. When she came back in October, I want to say that she was here during Noche de Difuntos, Night of the Dead. She experienced a bit of mysticism in the house that she was staying in. It was a shared house, and her podcast video here so that you can have a look at it and you tell us what you think about her experience. And she's actually traveling through Europe now, but her experience in that town actually turned her off to the whole experience of Asturias. And I take responsibility for that because I haven't shared that part of Asturias, and it's really important to know that, especially since she went into a teeny tiny town deep in the mountains of Asturias, especially someone coming from the States from a bigger city, having access to easy access to getting around is really, really important. And she didn't have that. And on top of that, she didn't have a grasp of the language as well. Whereas in my situation, I have my husband and he serves as my guide here. I really hope you take a look at her video. They are beautiful young ladies, and it was really fun to listen to their story, even though they had a bad experience. It has really affected what I want to do here on this channel in 2026, and I hope that you're here with me, and make sure that you're subscribed if you're not. I have a lot of goals for 2026. Now I have a system that I think that we're going to make something that's so special and so entertaining for you. And I hope that you're here with me for it. What this search has told me about this night, it refers to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, celebrated around October 31st through November 2nd. And it marks the end of the summer and the beginning of winter when the veil between worlds are thinned. And it allows the spirits to cross over with traditions including honoring ancestors, leaving food, lighting candles, sometimes in carved pumpkins, and cautionary tales about ghostly processions like La Guestia, the spectral entourage. So, based on the information that she shared, I think they were doing one of these rituals in the house that she was staying in. And to have a ritual like that in a space where you're allowing people from different places to live within your home, it's important. It's really important to let people know what's happening and to share that information with them so that they are not scared. I think her experience is actually beyond the celebration and the ceremony. I think it was a series of things that were extraordinary that happened to her and her friend that led them to want to leave Asturias early. And I hope that they'll want to come back one day and have a different experience because they are young ladies in their 20s. I think they would actually have better time in Oviedo and Gijón, possibly Avilés, in the bigger towns where they would see people their own age and they could mingle and mix and have access to different restaurants and different experiences rather than being tucked away in the countryside like I am. Look, I'm 50. I I've lived that life, and being in their 20s, of course you want to experience life, and when you travel, it's very important to experience people, and it's very hard to do that when you're tucked away from somewhere. So, if you're looking to visit Asturias or if you're moving to Asturias and would just like some help, feel at ease. I always have my email in the video descriptions. Feel at ease to reach out. I'm happy to help in any way that I can. This is the last video on this channel for 2025. I will see you in 2026. We have some really exciting things that we're going to be doing. If you're here in Asturias and you think and you know something that you would like me to share on this channel, leave a comment and tell me something that you'd love for us to share here on this channel. Anyway, I hope this video was fun for you. I learned a lot this December about myself and about what I'm looking to do. Having a job and working for someone, it's all laid out what the expectations are, and working for myself, doing what I'm doing now. All of this is a reflection of me, but this is also an opportunity to create something that will feed you. And that's what I'm working on doing here. And I hope this video helped feed you a little bit. And I will see you in 2026. Oh, comment, like, subscribe. Okay, bye.